Hey everyone, so I wanted to make this video because I'm going through this process of trying to figure out my specialty right now, and I know that it's a very difficult decision. So I just wanted to go through the advice that I've learned about how to pick a specialty and just what I've heard throughout this entire process. So there are a lot of people who come in and they just know what they want to do. I have asked a lot of residents, when did you know that you wanted to be in the specialty you are in now? And some of them are like, I knew since high school, since I'd had this, research position and I saw this doctor and I just knew. And there are other people who have gone through a residency, realized they didn't like that specialty, and then switched. So there's just like such a variety of how people figure out the specialty that they want and when. Sometimes you find out like once you're in residency. And from what I can tell, that's okay. There are people who do that. I know a person who's switching from one specialty to the other right now, and they're gonna be okay. And that's great. Like if that you can figure that out, that's awesome. But I mean, obviously you'd rather avoid that. If you can get it right the first time, that's just a little more convenient and it's less time wasted. But I mean, for some people, that's the time that you need to figure out that no, this specialty wasn't right for me and I'm supposed to do something else. I've seen 2 people so far who switched from general surgery to either radiology or anesthesiology. And so one thing that people tell me is, you first have to figure out, are you procedural or not? And if you love the OR or not. People say like for surgery, if you're gonna be a surgeon, you have to love the OR and you need to like love surgery. And if there's any other specialty you could see yourself in, you should do that. That's the advice that I've been getting, just because surgery lifestyle is pretty insane. When I was on my surgery rotation, we were there from 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I don't know if the residents stayed that much longer. Maybe they did. Also, you work weekends. Like, it's just an insane lifestyle. But also, I've seen, pediatrics residents who are working from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and they say they're golden weekends if they have both Saturday and Sunday off. So it's not like every specialty is like a cakewalk, at least for the residency part, but surgery is a very taxing life. And so that was like something that people told me to start off with: procedural, not surgery, not, and then just go from there. And I think you really need to give each specialty a chance when you are on that rotation. I ended up liking a rotation a lot that I did not expect that I was gonna like, and it kind of surprised me. Like, I did an elective, I was assigned that elective, and I had asked could I go into a different one because I didn't think I was gonna like that specialty. And I'm just not saying it now in case residencies see this and I actually end up picking a different specialty, but I'd actually wanted to not get that elective and I ended up getting it, and I had so much fun on that rotation, and I was like, wow, I could actually see myself doing this. And so give everything a chance. You never know what you're gonna like. Some people, they come in with their specialty and they end up doing that specialty and they love it, and that's great. And then there are other people who, come in and they're just like, shoot, this is not actually what I like. Like, I have a friend who was going through a rotation, thought they were going to do that specialty, like had said it for years, went through the rotation, were like, nope, I cannot do this. This is not worth it to me. So you don't know. So keep an open mind and ask people in that residency, so residents and attendings, what they think about their life, because you have to make it through the residency and you don't want to hate your life during the residency. But you're also not going to be a resident for your entire life. You need to know what it's going to be like when you're an attending and you're actually a real independent doctor. So ask them, like, what's your life like? What did you see for residents? Like, what did you see in other programs? How much is what I'm seeing you go through right now representative of what I could expect from a residency? And then ask the same thing to attendings. Like, what's your lifestyle like? Is that what you see for a lot of specialties? And, I have doctors that'll tell me, it's very different depending on where you're practicing and what, but I have a doctor who says like you can make any specialty work depending on how many hours and how much pay you want to get out of it. And if you want to ask doctors about like compensation too, depending on how comfortable you feel with them, do it. If that's something that matters to you, then ask. I'm not gonna lie, like money does matter to me to some extent. At the end of the day, I want the specialty that I'm gonna like live for and be happy with, but yeah, I care about money, I'm not gonna lie. So, ask everyone and ask people, what kind of personalities does this, specialty tend to attract? Like, what made you choose that specialty? And you never know, maybe that stuff strikes a chord with you. And get as much exposure as you can to the specialties that you want. There are some specialties at my school that we never get to see. There are specialties where you only get to see them 2 weeks out of the entire year. And I feel like you're basically getting engaged to a specialty when you choose a residency, getting engaged or getting married. And I feel like not that many people are like down to get married to someone after like 2 weeks. Granted, it works for some people, yeah, but I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's such a challenging thing. So one of the attendings that I spoke to said just get as much exposure as you can to every aspect of the specialties that you're interested in. And if that means, like taking some time to like after you're done with your clinical stuff to go see a surgery or to go spend extra time in that specialty, do it. Because you need to see the good, the bad, and the ugly of every specialty that you are considering, because it's not always going to be rainbows. You're going to have to do things that you don't like about the specialty, and you don't only want to see the parts that make you smile. I know I shadowed an emergency med doc when I was in undergrad, and he would always apologize, like, I'm sorry that you have to go see me go through this paperwork. And I'd always be like, like, that's actually great that I get to see this, because now I know how much paperwork I might have to do if I choose this profession. Granted, I feel like there's a lot of paperwork and lots of specialties, which is not my favorite, but whatever. Like, you need to know what you're getting yourself into. So go see the good and the bad of anything you're interested in. And a thing that I really liked that one of the attendings told me is, in whatever specialty you're considering, think of like the most mundane, boring, awful procedure that specialty has, or whatever sucks about it, and ask yourself if you could like do that every single day. And if you can handle it. Like, I asked a radiologist, like, what do you hate about this? And like, I hate chest films. Like, I can't look at chest films. Like, I don't want to. But he's like, I could do it if I needed to every day, because he likes his specialty that much. So, that's something to consider. And then the last thing that I want to harp on is, like, there are these people who feel like sometimes, like, people say medicine is their calling and that this is the only thing that they're meant to do in life. And if there are people who feel like that, that's awesome, and I'm glad that you feel that way. But if you don't feel bad. Like, at the end of the day, medicine is a job for people. It's like for some people it's their lives, it's everything that they've ever wanted. For some people it's a job that makes them happy. For some people it's a nightmare. I hope it's not a nightmare for you guys, but like, it's okay if you don't feel this dying passion for one specialty, and if you don't feel like this is your calling or something. And there are people who will be down to like 2 specialties, and it's okay to not be like 100% set on one of them. There are specialties that, have different things that'll attract you to them, and some that are kind of overlap a decent amount, and you could make either specialty work for you. So that doesn't mean that you're not a dedicated person. Doesn't mean you're not meant for medicine isn't a good, job for you. Just sometimes there are 2 things that will work for you, and that's okay. Like, my doc told me that one of the docs I work with told me, like, he could have been happy in multiple specialties. It was his choice and his personality that allows him to be happy in the specialty he is in now. He could have been happy doing another one. There are probably other specialties that, like, he could have been happy in. So it's not like you're not gonna, I don't know, what I'm trying to say is it'll be okay. And I do think there are specialties that I could be happy with, maybe love, but I'm not sure if there's just one set specialty for me. And I think that's okay. I'm just trying to pick the one that I think is the best for me. But I think I could be happy in multiple specialties. I know that there are specialties that I would actually like not want to do. Like, no matter what, no matter the pay, no matter the hours, I would not be happy in those specialties. And I think that's really important to figure out too. The ones that you are hardcore no on, like, no matter what, I will not do those specialties. So try and figure that out and just keep an open mind in the entire process. Ask anyone you can about questions and be realistic about what you want in life, whether you want medicine to be your life, whether you want it to be a means to live your life. Do you want to work to live or live to work? And also consider, you know, like, it sucks to talk about, but like, you also have to consider your competitiveness. There are some specialties that are more competitive than others, and that's just sadly how it goes. And so you have to be honest about that. So talk to your academic counselors, talk to other people. But if there's something you're set on, I really hope you can make it work. There are people with lower stats that get into amazing programs and amazing specialties, and that's awesome. Like, don't let everything deter you, but also study hard for your steps, do as much research as you can, make yourself the most competitive applicant that you can. So whatever specialty you end up choosing, you won't have to deal with any more hurdles than you already have to when you're dealing with this kind of stuff. So I hope that this video helped, and if you guys have any questions, let me know. Thanks.